You know, when most of us start a business, we start with a full heart. We see the possibilities, the freedom, the impact we could make. We picture a future where our hard work pays off, where our family is secure, and where we finally break out of the limits we grew up with. And for a while, that's exactly how it feels. The excitement, the momentum, the belief that if I just work hard enough, everything will work out. I thought that too, until the day everything I built began to fall apart. There was a time in my journey when I had what most would call success. The deals were flowing, the business was growing, and from the outside it looked like everything was working. People saw the progress, the lifestyle, the confidence. So told, but what they didn't see were the cracks forming underneath it all, cracks I didn't notice, or maybe didn't want to notice. Then came the hits, and not just one. It felt like a series of blows all landing at once. A dispute I wasn't prepared for, a situation I thought I could shake off, agreements that weren't as strong as I believed, and a storm I didn't see coming because I was so focused on building that I never stopped to protect what I was building. And I'll be honest with you, watching something you poured yourself into begin to collapse, it does something to you. It's not just the financial loss, it's the identity hit. It's the shame of thinking, how did I not see this? The fear of, what if I can't recover? The silent, sleepless nights where you replay every decision, every moment you ignored the warning signs, wishing you had known what you know now. That chapter of my life left a scar, a deep one. It forced me to face a truth that no one had ever taught me. Success isn't just about how high you build, it's about how well you protect what you've built. That experience changed me. It humbled me, and it awakened a fire in me, because the part that still hits me is this: I could have avoided the collapse, not by working harder, but by being protected sooner. And that's why I'm here. That's why I speak about this with such conviction. I don't want you or anyone trying to build a better future to ever go through what I did, not if I can help you see the danger before it reaches your door. So as we go through this together today, I want you to listen not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Use my experience as a shortcut, a shield you didn't have to bleed for. Because if you're building something that matters, it deserves to survive long enough to bless the people it was meant to help. Now, on the next slide, I'm going to show you the first silent leak that weakens businesses from the inside, the one most entrepreneurs overlook until it's too late. When things start going well in business, it's one of the best feelings in the world. You finally start to taste the momentum you've been chasing. Clients say yes, referrals show up, and opportunities start coming to you instead of you having to hunt for them. It's exciting and it's validating. I once worked with someone, let's call her Sarah, who hit that exact stage. She launched her business, and within her first year she was already shining. People loved her work. She was signing new clients left and right. In fact, she was growing faster than most people in her space, and everyone could see she had something special. But like so many rising entrepreneurs, she didn't want to slow down the momentum by getting formalities in place. Contracts felt unnecessary because she had great relationships with her clients. Everyone seemed happy. Everyone seemed on the same page until the day they weren't. One particular client started out wonderfully. They praised her work, sent her voice notes full of appreciation, even referred others, so when they began requesting just a few extra tasks, she agreed verbally. The relationship felt solid. Why complicate it with paperwork, right? But as the project grew, expectations shifted. What she thought was a favor became included work. What she saw as additional effort, the client saw as unfinished promises. And because nothing had been clearly defined in a written agreement, there was no anchor, nothing to refer back to when perspectives started to drift. When payment time came, the client disputed the invoice. Not only did she lose the payment, she spent weeks trying to resolve a situation that was never clear in the first place. And here's the part that stings the most. It wasn't just the money, it was the emotional spiral that followed, confusion, frustration, that internal voice that says, I should have known better. And I remember her saying something that sounded all too familiar to me. I never imagined something so small could escalate and cost me this much. Not just financially, but mentally. She wasn't careless. She wasn't irresponsible. She was talented, driven, focused on serving people well. Her mistake was assuming good relationships didn't need strong agreements. And that's where so many rising entrepreneurs get blindsided. When things are going well, that's usually when protection feels least urgent, but that's actually the most dangerous time to ignore it, because momentum without boundaries attracts confusion and unintentionally invites conflict. A clear agreement doesn't make you rigid, it makes you wise. It protects relationships, not harms them. It sets expectations so both sides feel safe to succeed. As you hear the next few slides, I want you to keep this thought close. Success doesn't remove the need for protection, it increases it. On the next slide, I'm going to show you how quickly a single leak like this can erase weeks, sometimes months of your progress, and why most entrepreneurs underestimate the true cost of just one hit. One of the most painful realizations for entrepreneurs is this: it's not the big disasters that derail us, it's the small hits we didn't take seriously. I want you to imagine something for a moment, not as numbers on a page, but as a lived experience you may have felt before. You work hard for weeks on a project, you pour in your time, your attention, your creativity, your late nights, your early mornings, you deliver, you serve well, and in your mind the income from that project is already accounted for, maybe even already spent on bills or reinvested in your plans, but then the money doesn't come. Maybe the client delays, maybe they disappear, maybe they dispute, maybe it becomes awkward to chase. And suddenly, what you thought was secured income evaporates. Now here's where it hits emotionally. It's not just the missing payment. It's the story you tell yourself afterwards. Maybe I should have seen it coming. I should have been more firm. I should have had something in writing. I can't believe this happened to me. Again. That internal dialogue drains more energy than the missing dollars. But let's ground this for a moment, because most people never do this math properly. And it's the math that creates the emotional wake-up. If you lose $5,000 and your profit margin is 20%, you don't need $5,000 to make it back. You need $25,000 in new sales just to return to where you were before the loss. Think about that. A month of effort, wiped out by a moment of being unprotected. And it's not just money. Losing a deal like that, it leaves a mark. It plants hesitation. It changes the way you show up next time. It steals a bit of your confidence, your trust, your spark. Most entrepreneurs don't calculate the ripple effect. The income lost, the time wasted chasing it, the emotional energy drained, the opportunities missed because your mind was stuck rehearsing the problem. So when we talk about profit leaks, This isn't accounting, this is emotional stewardship. This is about protecting your capacity to keep showing up strong. Because here's the truth most don't want to admit. Unprotected loss doesn't just affect your business, it affects your belief in yourself. And if you've ever felt that gut punch moment where one unexpected hit stole more than money from you, then this next part is where things begin to shift. On the next slide, I'm going to show you why these leaks are so dangerous, not just because they cost you financially, but because they quietly weaken the foundation of how you build, lead, and scale your vision. One of the biggest misconceptions in business is believing that a loss is just a loss, as if a missing payment, a disputed contract, or a penalty can be contained neatly in one chapter. But if you've been in business for any real stretch of time, you know that's not how it works. Loss rarely stays in its lane. I want you to picture a single domino on a table. On its own it looks harmless, small, insignificant, but when that domino falls, it rarely falls alone. It triggers the next one, and the next, and the next. And before you realize what's happening, something that started as a small issue has become the thing that derailed your direction. That's exactly how profit leaks behave in a business. A $3,000 or $5,000 loss sounds like one problem, but it never stops there. It sets off a chain reaction most entrepreneurs never trace back to the root. Here's how it usually plays out. It starts with the hit. The money doesn't come in, you feel it in your stomach, that tightening, that not again frustration. So now your focus shifts. Instead of building, you start chasing. You spend hours emailing, following up, replaying conversations, talking to others about it, and trying to fix a situation that was preventable in the first place. Meanwhile, while your attention is on that fire, new opportunities slip by. You show up to your next sales call a little less grounded, a little less confident, a little distracted. And whether you realize it or not, people can feel that energy. Momentum slows, creativity dips. You second-guess decisions you used to make with clarity. And that one leak, that one domino, has now touched your revenue, your confidence, your time, your energy, and your future opportunities. And here's the part most people never acknowledge. It's not the leak itself that does the most damage. It's the time you spend recovering from it, because while you're busy patching holes, you're not building. While you're protecting the past, you're not advancing the future. And that space, that in between, is where businesses lose their edge. Think back for a moment. Have you ever had a situation that threw you off your game for days or weeks, and when you finally bounce back, you weren't in the same rhythm? That's the domino effect. The cost of ignoring leaks isn't measured only in dollars. It's measured in lost momentum, delayed growth, and the emotional residue that changes how you show up. My goal for you today is not to make you fearful of leaks, but to help you respect them, to see them not as unfortunate situations, but as early warning signs that protection is not a luxury. It's a requirement for sustainable growth, because the longer a leak goes unaddressed, the more dominoes it takes down, and the harder it becomes to get back to the version of you that was building with confidence. On the next slide, I want to shift gears. Now that you can see the damage leaks cause, I'm going to show you why business protection isn't a burden. It's actually the key to building with strength, clarity, and peace of mind. Now, after hearing all of this, you might be thinking, all right, this is hitting close to home. But where do I even start? And if that thought crossed your mind, I want you to take a breath, because this is where everything begins to shift in your favor. Up until now, we've been talking about the weight of leaks, the hidden damage, the domino effect. But here's the part most entrepreneurs never get to hear. Profit leaks are not a sign that you're failing. They're a sign that you're ready for your next level. Think about that for a moment. The only reason leaks show up is because you're building something that matters. You're creating value. You're serving people. You're growing. And with growth comes a new responsibility. Not to do more, but to protect what's already working. And the empowering truth is this: fixing leaks doesn't require rebuilding your business. It simply requires reinforcing it. This is where most people sigh with relief once they understand it. We're not talking about becoming a legal expert. We're not talking about spending hours in paperwork or drowning in complicated jargon. Protection doesn't mean slowing down your momentum. In fact, it's what allows your momentum to finally feel safe. Imagine building your business the way a skilled builder reinforces a house. They don't wait for the storm to hit to add support beams. They don't see protection as a burden. They see it as wisdom, and because of that, the home stands tall, not just in the sunshine, but when the winds come too. You don't need to overhaul who you are or how you've been building. You simply need to add the structure that matches the size of your vision, and the moment you do, something powerful happens. Peace enters the process. Decisions become clearer. Boundaries become easier. Clients respect the standard you set. Instead of hoping problems don't show up, you start knowing you're equipped for them if they do. And I want you to hear this from someone who's lived on both sides of this. Being protected feels different. It feels lighter. It feels steadier. It feels like you can finally build without that quiet fear in the back of your mind. Because protection isn't about being defensive. It's about freedom. It's about creating a business you can trust to hold the weight of your dreams. So as we move into the next slide, I'm going to show you the shift that happens when you protect the foundation of your business, not just the business itself, but you as the leader behind it. I want you to picture something for a moment. Not your business as it is today, but your business as it could be when it's protected, reinforced, and built to support the size of your true vision. Because protection isn't just about avoiding losses, it's what gives you the freedom to expand with confidence. When a business isn't protected, growth feels risky. Every new client, every new deal, every new opportunity carries that quiet question in the background. Can I handle the fallout if something goes wrong? But when your foundation is secure, that question disappears, and something powerful replaces it. What else can I build? This is the shift I've watched happen over and over again. When entrepreneurs finally put protection in place, their creativity opens up, their decisions get bolder. They stop playing small or safe because fear is no longer the silent partner in every move they make. Think about what becomes possible when you're no longer bracing for the worst. You take on bigger clients, not just the ones who feel safe. You make offers with confidence, not hoping they won't push back. You collaborate more because you know your boundaries and your value are protected. You scale, not with anxiety, but with momentum that compounds forward. Protected growth is expansion without fear. It's like upgrading from a small fishing boat that tips with every wave to a vessel built for deep waters, trade winds, and long-distance journeys. The ocean doesn't change, but your capability to navigate it does. And here's the part people rarely talk about. When you're protected, people feel it. Clients feel it, partners feel it, opportunities feel it. There's a confidence that comes from knowing your business isn't fragile, it's solid, it's fortified, and you can build on it again and again without the fear of losing what you've already built. Because the real goal isn't just to grow, it's to grow without the constant worry that it could all collapse with one unexpected hit. Protection doesn't clip your wings, it gives you the runway to take off safely, repeatedly, and at higher altitudes. And that's the vision I want you to hold as we move into the final slide. Because now that you can see what protected expansion looks like, the next step is simple. It's closer than you may think. In the final part of this conversation, I'm going to show you how to take the first step toward building this kind of business. One that can grow boldly without fear holding the steering wheel. We've covered a lot today. You've seen the hidden leaks, the real costs, the domino effect, and the power of building a business that is protected, fortified, and capable of expanding without fear. But now we arrive at the most important part of this entire journey, the moment of choice. Because information alone doesn't create transformation, only decisions do. Every entrepreneur reaches a point where they have to choose what kind of builder they want to be. Some keep building with hope, hoping things won't go wrong, hoping clients will pay, hoping storms won't hit. And hope is beautiful, but it is not a strategy. Others make a different choice. They decide that what they are building is too important to leave to chance. They decide that their vision, their family, their future, and the people they serve deserve a foundation that can hold the weight of growth. These are the entrepreneurs who rise, not because they never faced storm, but because they built something strong enough to stand through them. So I want to ask you, sincerely and with full respect for your journey, which version of you is going to continue building your business from this day forward? The version that hopes things work out, or the version that ensures they do? This isn't about perfection, it's not about having it all figured out, it's about making a decision that says, I'm done building fragile, I'm done bracing for the hit, I'm ready to build in a way that lasts. Because the truth is, your future is too valuable to keep exposed, and you don't have to walk into the next chapter unprotected. If something inside you is saying, I'm ready for this next level, baby, I'm ready to build with strength, clarity, and confidence, then I want to invite you to take the first step with me, not someday, not when things slow down, not after the next crisis, now, when it matters. Here's what to do. Comment the word protect or send it to me privately and I'll share the next step. A simple personal pathway tailored to where you are right now. No pressure, no overwhelm, just clarity, guidance and support to help you build the protected, scalable business you deserve. You've already done the hardest part, becoming aware. The next step is choosing the version of you that acts on that awareness. Your business is worth protecting, your vision is worth safeguarding, your future is worth building on solid ground. The question now is are you ready to step into the builder you were meant to become?